Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again with my second build for this league. Played Ethereum Knives as much as I needed to set up my Atlas, and to take it any further it would have cost a lot more or just taken a lot more time to grind out more bosses and all that shit. So we moved on, and I was definitely keen to play with at least one of the new supporter gems. The one that probably had my eye the most was Spellblade, and that is the one that gives you essentially Battlemage in support format, so it's no longer just Inquisitor or Templars that steal the Inquisitor node for Battlemage being able to use weapons for spellcasting purposes. Weapons with elemental or physical damage on them, or even chaos damage. Basically what it does is let you turn any of your attack-based damage into spell damage. So the idea here, and in this character, is to turn Energy Blade's damage into spell damage. Energy Blade is a buff that you turn on that cuts your energy in half and gives you your energy shield in half and gives you a weapon with lightning damage on it based off of the amount of energy shield you had. And it stacks with Battlemage as well, because I've made a Energy Blade with Battlemage in the past, and you can get very high amounts of Energy Blade, like up to, let's say, 4,000 lightning damage on your weapon. Turn that into Battlemage, and then you have 4,000 lightning damage going onto your spells. But now you can stack it with Spellblade, meaning you get both Battlemage and Spellblade, meaning you are double dipping from your Energy Blade, but even more so because Spellblade gives like 130%, though granted it does take up a support gem. So it becomes pretty nutty, and this is a build that's just trying to be Arc Totems with that setup. I wanted to do Arc specifically because the league mechanic seems like it'd be pretty cool to chain off of mobs and do Arc with. And I haven't done a totem character in a while, so I did put out that Stormburst starter, and I would have happily done that. But for the league mechanic, I thought, it's probably a bit nicer to do Arc. Let's give that a shot. And it's decent. It's not bad. Like, it's not crazy at this stage, but it's pretty decent for league mechanic, and Arc totems in general have been pretty decent for everything I've come across thus far. They are a bit underpowered compared to some other totem setups, which is why you don't see too many Arc totems around. But I'm hoping to solve that problem with this Energy Blade, Spellblade, Battlemage setup, and thus far it has done pretty well off of a fairly lean budget. Only a few divines have been invested into this build, and I'm up to, I don't know, tier 10 maps or something pretty comfortably, and clearing very nicely with the extra chains going all over the map sort of setup. It is still very early days for the character, though. I do also think that other totem setups are probably going to be better by and large, so maybe some Divine Eye totems, still possibly Stormburst totems, and then on top of that, Shockwave totem especially. That thing with Astral Projector is kind of just stupid because of how the targeting works and how ranged you become, and how just efficient it is at doing everything. Either way, Arc Totems here seem to be working fine, and the setup is an Inquisitor, kind of similar to how I've built a Energy Blade character in the past, trying to stack some level of strength and int. Here's an example of the league mechanic with the challenge where you have to do a 200 plus rank by yourself, so you aren't allowed to have any minions or any totems or anything else down, and it's a bit of an interesting battle, but we did get through it, and yeah, totems are a pretty good setup for it. So either way, we are stacking int and strength for the Inquisitor portion here to get the extra crit, to get extra life and energy shield from the int, and ultimately it becomes kind of similar to previous Energy Blade characters, but I'm trying to keep it a bit cheaper, so it's using a Ghost Wrath instead of a Ivory Tower, and nothing too crazy on the gearing side, and it's working out well, and I'm pretty happy with how it plays, and I think other people can do this if you want. The only issue is that Because of the way I've got to build here, we don't have good recovery and we don't have great defenses, just a bunch of extra energy shield and life as sort of a buffer. So you have to be able to place things in advance, run around a bit, and make sure you're not taking damage. Now, I'm not dying here too frequently, and you probably wouldn't and shouldn't be if you play carefully enough. But I'm not going to lie to you and tell you you can run around face tanking, because you absolutely will not be able to. But it's been fun so far, so either way, let me go ahead and show you how I've built the character so far. So here's the current character, level 87, Arc Turtle. Turtle's a turtle emote in Twitch chat, and turtle's kind of the theme of the league mechanic, just because they're so strong and kind of fun as well. Anyway, level 87 Inquisitor. So there are a few routes to kind of go with this character, and they can involve just stealing instruments of virtue. So you can have Battlemage on top of Spellblade. In this one, I've just gone a very basic route, so I haven't stolen any ascendancies from anything. So if you went like a Hierophant, the Totem base, and then stole this, you'd probably have a better character. If you did this and then stole some Hierophant, you'd probably have a better character. I'm just keeping it basic because it's going to be expensive otherwise. But the whole idea is you have Energy Blade. So as you can see, you get a weapon from the Energy Blade buff, which is based off of your energy shield to begin with. It cuts your energy shield in half and then gives you a bunch of lightning damage from that. It is notoriously a difficult sort of thing to build around and justify, because you are using a lot of your resources towards putting up your energy shield, which is usually your defensive mechanic, and then cutting it in half. And at the same time, you have to focus on offense everywhere else. So it's hard to justify, it's hard to build around, but there are good examples of it being very powerful. And this is attempting to be kind of like that from those examples. So we have this type of lightning damage on our weapon. We then have Spellblade, and we also have Battlemage, meaning all of that goes towards our arc. So you can see my arc now has 1900 to 27,000 lightning damage. If we just take this out, for example, I'm down to 14,000 lightning damage. If I turn Energy Blade off altogether, that turns off my Battle Mage. I'm down to 700 to 4,000 lightning damage. So you can see the power of the Energy Blade and the power of the Battle Mage and Spellblade all coming together to give you a whole bunch of extra damage to anything you want. So this type of a build could actually be not Arc at all. It could be, as an Inquisitor, anything. Like you can use any spell in this situation, whatever you feel is the strongest mechanically, etc. Whatever you find most fun, whatever it is. So it becomes a pretty fun sort of build around mechanic, and I leveled this character with totems all the way, basically rolling magma, level 12. Once I got to this node here, just started having 2 totems and then used Arc the entire way. And I've been Arc the entire way, but you could do like any sort of totem setup as soon as you want. It's going to be worse than a Hierophant totem-wise, because you don't get like placement speed and a 3rd totem immediately. But I did get Battle Mage immediately. I then started Energy Blading immediately with the right little extra uniques while leveling. You can have a very powerful Battle Mage setup. And then, yeah, the leveling's smooth, and you can do any sort of setup while you do that leveling. But like I said, it is going to have problems of being a totem character compared to Hierophant, of not having the placement speed, not having the right recovery for mana, and also regen and stuff. And in this situation, I am just keeping a large amount of energy shield over a decent life pool as well. So I can get hit plenty, but the recovery isn't really that good. So you have to avoid getting hit too many times and actually place yourself well enough that you are avoiding damage and seeing damage coming your way so that you can get around it. So as I also mentioned, I'm building around Ghost Wrath here, so it converts half of my life to energy shield, and that's a very powerful tool for just some easy-going energy shield. As you can see, if I take it off, we have substantially less energy shield at the moment. That's without Energy Blade on. So that's 2,800 Energy shield, 5,400 life. Turn that on, our life gets cut in half. Our energy shield goes up to 9k. Turn on energy blade, gets cut in half, etc. You can see a bigger example of an energy blade character I did with cast on crit Winter, I think it was. Inquisitor a couple leagues ago. If you want to look that one up, it's a much bigger example. I've got almost twice as much energy shield on this, but it's going to be a heftier character to put together. So the whole premise of the character is basically stack strength and int on top of this. So you get percent energy shield from your int, you get life, and then on top of that, you're an Inquisitor, so you get crit for all of that. That's essentially the whole premise. We get cast speed in various spots, we get int, strength, etc. Some crit multi. Crown of the Inward Eye with an additional arc is the only semi-expensive item I'm wearing. It cost me 2 divines. And it's a pretty powerful item for this sort of a setup because it gives you a whole bunch of everything. Armor, energy shield, life, mana, ES, and then all the various extra damages of the scalings. So the enchant, not super important, but still more damage. It's just the hat that's pretty damn nice. We then have an additional totem shield, which I've yet to really make anything out of, but additional totem. Strength int. Crafted a belt with attributes, and picked up the High Templar gloves with some cast speed, some spell crit, and these cost 100c. They've also got +1 gems, so if we want to put an Enlighten in there, that'll be pretty good. But otherwise, just a regular pair of gloves with Eldritch Implicits are pretty good too. With Unnerve would be good. A Shaper glove with some cast speed would be good. These are by no means build defining or anything. You can get plenty of other stuff. And aside from that, yeah, I've yet to even take any jewel sockets, but I will, and maybe I'll steal an Ascendancy, maybe I'll just get a good Watcher's Eye, maybe I'll just get some plain jewels that have cast speed and some crit multi and stuff. And everything in the video so far has been on a 5-link, so running Spell Totem, Multi-Totem, Spellblade, which Divergent gives you 10% lucky hit, and Arc, and then crit damage. For most of the character, though, I was using crit strikes over here. It's just now that my crit has gone a pretty good way, I'm starting to use crit damage. So that's that there. Other than that, running Purity of Elements, Discipline, Vitality, Defiance Banner, Clarity, that stuff's on life. So Clarity, Arrogance, Vitality, Defiance Banner, so that I can be low life. If you go low life in this sort of way, you want to make sure your Chaos Res is pretty high, and we're getting some life regen from Vitality as well. Yeah, pretty basic setup so far. I'd say fairly flexible. I still haven't like fixed the entire character for proper building and end game and all that. For the most part, I've just been trying to do some league mechanic and fuck around a lot, but I see potential in this one. And one other thing, you can also get an Abyssal Jewel on your Energy Blade if you have a sword or whatever before you turn it into an Energy Blade, if it's holding an Abyssal Jewel from a craft. So we're going to do that eventually as well. But yeah, pretty basic so far. I hope to have a much bigger video for endgame and stuff in a few days, hopefully, if it goes well enough. But hope you guys liked the video and the character. Thank you very much for watching. See you guys next time.